Welcome back on this exclusive edition of Up and About, our second edition of schools, tertiary colleges and universities reopening following the directive of the President of the Republic of Uganda. Right now we are at Kalinabidi Senior Secondary School. We have come here to find out how are the secondary students coping up with the entire situation of reopening schools amidst the various standard operational procedures that include wearing a face mask, having sanitizers and social distancing amidst the hiking number of COVID-19 cases in Uganda. We shall be talking to the teachers to find out if they have any challenges or any advice that they can give to the various authorities that are working on the reopening of schools. A lot of debates are going on out there on different platforms saying that maybe children should not be in school, but some feel children should be in school because we are not seeing a dead year for our students anytime soon. My name is Sharina Awori, and you are watching the second edition of School Reopening on Up and About BTMTV. I'm at Kalinabidi Secondary School. We are going to talk to one of the leaders at this school. She's going to introduce herself and give us a highlight on what's going on. You're welcome on the show.
My name is Annette Phyllis Namaganda. I'm the deputy in charge of academics here at Kalinabidi Secondary School.
People out there need to know which term is this, because we had our children get back from first term. Some of them didn't finish. The senior fives who had just joined. So what is the programming? Is this second term? Is it third term? How is it?
Okay. According to the Ministry of Education and Sports, this is our second term. Much as we've received back only 2 classes, that is Form 4 and Form 6. I think they're still trying to evaluate the situation on ground with these 2 candidate classes before they can make a decision for the continuing classes. That is Form 1, 2, 3, and 5.
What are the plans for the students, the senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, senior 5, to make sure that in case they reopen they can finish up this syllabus? Because I quote the Minister of Education saying that we can't have a dead year. So is there something that's done for those that are still home?
I believe for the various schools, at the school level, even during the other total lockdown, we had engaged, for instance, our school, we had engaged the students through these WhatsApp forums. So we would send them work, assignments, notes during that strict lockdown. And we continue to interact with them using that very platform. And I think it has been done by the rest of the schools, at least schools that bit.com. Is it the government promised to buy radios for every family so that they're educated from home, and eventually there is an evaluation which will be used to promote these students. But until we get an official communication in that direction or any form of data that can assist us navigate these times, we cannot commit ourselves to say this is what is going to be done.
How is the school coping up with the school fee structure? What are you doing for the parents so that it is a friendly match for both of you?
As per this term, we've not increased our fees structure. It is still the same. The only bit is that we require students to bring 2 masks. This is a day school. Basically, it's a day school. We require them to bring 2 masks. One for safe custody by our nurse, then the other they should wear. When it comes to, then they are supposed to have their own personal scholastic materials because sharing is not allowed according to our SOPs. Then because we provide them with tea and lunch, they're supposed to carry a plate and a cup. Then the fee structure has basically remained the same.
So what are some of the things that the government has helped in to make sure that you open up the schools? And in case they are not yet doing something, which are the major things that you would wish the government to provide so that it's a smooth ride for you to get the children back in class, safe and sound?
I think for the time being, for this school or for schools, I don't know, but I can only speak for this school, we are yet to receive any form of assistance. A lot has been said out there on the different media platforms, but we are yet to receive something from the government. But this being government aided, Of course, teachers have been paid. Salaries, their salaries, teachers have been receiving their salaries. They've never stopped getting their salaries, those who are on the payroll. Of course, now the challenge is with those who are privately employed.
I'm here with one of the teachers at Kalinabiri. He's going to be talking to us and let us know how things are working out during the COVID-19 pandemic versus reopening of schools. You're welcome on the show.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm called Ronald Mujimba. I'm a teacher of mathematics, physics, Kalinabiri ESS in Tinda. As far as COVID-19 is concerned, we should say we are trying to implement the SOPs, but however much they are challenging, we are trying to do the needful. For teachers and students, we use sanitizers before you enter the school, before you enter the classroom, outside, we do that.
Yes, I'm catching up with some of the students here at Kalinabiri. How are you? What's your name?
Kichoncho Precious Kelly.
Kichoncho. Which class are you in?
I'm in senior 4.
So quick one, have you been studying during this COVID-19 quarantine period when you were at home?
Yes, I have, but the rate and the efficiency of studying had started reducing because as we were going forward, we were finding that the president wasn't addressing much. So the ambition for reading started to reduce. But when we were going back, I got the fire to start again.
So what are the some of the platforms that you use to catch up with work at home, like with classes at home?
Our school, they had some WhatsApp groups that we were using. TV stations, we would study on some TV stations, and also buy newspapers and read.
So give me a clear picture. When you come in the morning, what happens from the get up to when you get to the classrooms?
There's a tank with water. It's the first thing you see when you are entering the school. So the first thing is washing hands and sanitizing. Yeah.
And what happens?
Then I come to school. I must have a mask to enter school, and there's social distancing in the classes.
Welcome to the show, Mr.
Thank you, madam. Yes, I'm called Victor Kamli. I teach English language and literature.
We've had lots of different stories that some teachers moved on during this pandemic. Like, how has this experience been to you as an individual, as a teacher for over 7 months when schools had closed?
Oh, well, it has been very tough on the side of teachers because in situations where you are not working, you are not moving, certainly the income is affected. It has been very tough, I must say, but we have tried to do some other things. For example, doing gardening for those months, and yeah.
You're welcome on the show.
Thank you, madam. My name is Alex Piargawa. I teach chemistry, and I'm glad that schools are now working and we are back at work.
What have you been up to during this whole entire lockdown situation, then quarantine, and now we are reopening schools? It's been over 7 months. What have you been up to as a teacher?
Well, the situation has been tough on the side of the teacher. But basically, me, I've been doing some sort of farming. I had a small land which I've been actually cultivating so that I can get food to sustain my family and do other things.
We're going to be talking to the various students to see how they are coping up with the entire situation of COVID-19 versus reopening schools. How are you, dear? What's your name?
I'm Navasa Rita.
Navasa, how is the experience during this whole entire period?
So far, it's not easy because studying while wearing masks is not easy to maintain.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
I'm Esogo Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, what is the most challenging part you've had being at school while you need to follow all these standard operational procedures?
The problem is the movement coming to school. It's quite difficult. Waking up early in the morning and coming to school.
So how do you get to school?
I use public transport.
So do you think it's safe?
Yeah, it's safe.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
What's your name?
Erombe Betty.
Betty. So Betty, how has your life changed during this time after reopening schools, following the guidelines to curb down the spread of COVID?
It's quite of a difficult thing because coming to school, you're wearing a mask, you feel uncomfortable. So we just have to cope out with the situation. Washing hands every time we move out, Kwegamba, it's kind of a hard thing. Yeah.
So which advice do you have for your fellow students who are still at home, afraid of coming back to school?
The thing is, because they say they're going to provide them with the copies, they should just continue doing that until they come back to school.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
You're okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Any challenges so far?
Actually, coming back to school, it is a challenge because I thought that coming to school will be next year, but since we are at school...
So you mean you're not ready for this term?
No, now we are back. They told us to come back to school. Now we shall be ready because we are supposed to learn.
What's your name?
I'm Kananura David.
Kananura, what are some of the things that you've had a hard time in during this whole entire period, seeing that you have to follow the standard operational procedures versus coming back to school?
I think from school or at home.
Coming to school and you follow all these standard operation procedures, social distancing, using a mask, using sanitizers.
It's a challenge because I don't have to share anything with anyone. I have to sit alone. I can't even consult a friend like to tell him or her to help me with a book or a pen or something, you get. So that's it.
Madam, how are you doing?
I'm fine, madam.
What's your name?
My name is Karunji Yvette.
Karunji, how is the situation at school during this period?
I'd like to say that the situation is not kinda easy because we practically and literally aren't used to these things of putting on a mask while in class, because at some instance you find like you can't talk clearly or you feel like you want to suffocate in the mask, and yeah, it's not really easy.
Kati mukama wange okumala emyezi nga 7 tubadde mu COVID-19 lockdown eno, abantu bangi babadde bafunye ebirala ebyokola, gobadde okola ki?
Nze okuva twayingira mu lockdown nasooka nembeerabeerako wano, kati nendabanga embeera ekalubye nengamba enaakola nti ate nga ndi nzekka wano, ng'abasomesa baagenda, abaana baagenda, ng'asigaddewo nzekka. Kati nengamba nendaba wano mu compound waliyo site eri wali, nengamba kasita nima awantu wano nefunayo ku nsiko sisobola kuyiwa wano, nefunamo nange nezimba, nendabanga nange imalira okwo obudde. Kati we nakola enkuba naye netandika okutonya, nenkola transfer ya seedlings, nasookera ku sukuma. Kati busukuma obwo nabwo Katonda nanyamba ne bujja bulungi. Kati mbadde nokaka amakoola nga ntandika okusiba ku ssaawa z'ekumakya nga ntambuza mu ntinda wano within ntinda. Kati we nalabanga busukuma bugenda bukendeera nenjuwa kundi gobe. Egobe nalyo nelimera, manyi gobe lya nnaku ntono, nalyo nelimera, nentandika okusiba nga ntambula mbuuza bakasitoma, ate nabo nenfuna bakasitoma. Kati olunaku oluusi mbadde esobola okukolayo kakaaka, oluusi omutwalo, naye olw'okuba ndi kanimiro kaali katono nenkola ki ebyo bye nafunamu, nenkulako ne karediyo kange wano k'emitwalo 4 nga ndaba ndironere nga nteekako nga mbulirisa puroguramu za gavumenti biki ebyobufuzi. Nange kati okutuukira ddala mu biseera bino bye twazeemu okusoma, embeera nengitwalira awo bwe ntyo.
Togenda kuddamu kulima akomyewo ku mulimu? Maama, n'essaawa zino nga bwetoonye oluusi mbeera wano ku geeti neŋŋamba naye obaana bo banaafuluma ssaawa meka, neba esikaddeyo ssaawa eyo ngendamu mu nnimiro omwo. Kati nasazeewo nesuulasuulamu kasooli
nga ndaba kati ezikula ensigo teziriiwo.
As you heard it from the various stakeholders, the reopening of school has been quite a big challenge, but despite of everything, this has been the second edition of the school reopening amidst COVID-19 pandemic. We were at Kalinabidi Secondary School, but you can note that different standard operational procedures like wearing masks, using sanitizers, washing hands, and social distancing are addressed very well. To the people out there, the children, the parents, and the authorities, we urge you to use this time to make sure that you are part of the curbing down of the spread of this deadly coronavirus. My name is Sharina Awori, and you are watching Up and About. Do not forget that the show airs every Wednesdays 9:45 p.m. and Fridays repeats at 9:45 p.m. You can follow the conversation on our social media platform on Facebook, Up and About. Don't change your dial. You're still watching BTMTV.